Coven, welcome to the mat and welcome to day 20 of this Wake the Witch journey. In today's practice, Root to Rise, we're going to work through a really strong warrior flow. So perhaps you have heard me discuss Root to Rise before on this YouTube channel, or maybe your yoga teacher in an in-person class has discussed it. And this is quite a famous phrase in yoga. It is the idea that when we root, we really set stability and foundation in our poses so we can lift higher and higher and be really strong in the final asana. This is also in kind of terms of spirituality. So we need to connect with the earth. We need to find grounding before we can rise. It's the idea that seeds grow from darkness into beautiful big trees and flowers and kind of luscious lands. So this is a reminder that if you find yourself in the darkness right now, connect with the earth, root down and begin to rise, my loves. It is going to be a fun practice, so a slow but a super strong one. So not rushing through our poses today, really looking at our alignment and our stability and kind of feeling good. So it's going to be fun. So to begin with, you're going to come to lie all the way flat on the back. Take your arms up and overhead and give yourself a beautiful full body wiggle. Pulling your arms up and overhead as we inhale. On your exhale, relax your arms down by your side and we're going to begin to open up the hips by bringing them to Baddha Konasana. So bring the bottom of the feet to touch and allow the knees to fall open to the side. Coming in today's practice by taking a beautiful deep breath in through the nose. And a slow breath all the way out. So slowing down your inhales and your exhales. Maybe after nearly 3 weeks of flowing, you find it a little bit easier to connect with your breath. It's flowing effortlessly down to the belly. Or maybe if you've come to the mat today a little bit overwhelmed or anxious, it takes a few more moments. So you're welcome to bring the hands down to the belly. Concentrating on aiming to make the palms rise and fall in time with your breath. And as I said, in today's practice, we're going to work through a warrior style flow. So taking a look at flying warrior, warrior 1, warrior 2, all the warriors here. Finding a strong sense of foundation in our poses and finding that connection to the earth beneath us. So from here, we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. And on your breath out, relax the hands down to the thighs, bring the knees to touch and begin to hug the knees to the chest. Wrap your arms around the legs and begin to rock from side to side. So you're massaging that root chakra into the mat, into the earth here. Starting to activate it, starting to wake it up. Beautiful. Before simply allowing the knees to fall all the way over to the right hand side, your gaze comes to the left and reach those arms out into a beautiful big T shape here. So really trying to create length through the fingertips. On your next inhale, we gently bring the knees through center and then exhale, switch your twist, knees fall over to the left hand side and your gaze floats over to the right. Inhale, bring the knees into the center, separate the legs, take the hands underneath the knees and begin to rock from side to side once more. So just stretching out that spine, opening up the hips before we come to stillness. So flatten the back against the mat and flex into the feet. Maybe you choose to stay here. If you have a half happy baby in your practice, you can stay here, but roll the shoulders away from the ears, back down the spine. 5 breaths. Before we inhale, on your exhale, bring the feet to touch, gently bring the knees to touch and relax the feet flat to the mat once more, taking a few little twists from side to side, so massaging the base of the spine into the mat. And before we come into a tabletop position, we're going to take a few bridge raises here just to open up the heart. So you're going to bring the feet flat to the mat and walk them about hips width apart. Take those arms up and overhead, and so we create a box shape around the face. We're going to take it 5 times here, so I apologize, my mic goes a little bit strange. On your next inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift, squeezing the knees together. Exhale, lower down, keep it going. Inhale, lift for 3, maybe come onto the tippy toes. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift for 4. And lower. Inhale, lift for 5, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hips down to the mat, extend the legs to the sky, cross the ankles. I'm going to roll immediately into tabletop. So start to rock forwards and backwards, getting enough momentum here that you can roll over the ankles, over the knees, and bring yourself into a, whatever this pose is called, a tabletop, and then simply take a few cat-cow stretches. Inhaling to drop the chest. Exhale to curve. Taking a few gorgeous little wiggles here, anything that you need to release in the hips. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes under and we come to meet straight away in downward facing dog. So finding a little bit of strength in our practice today, we're going to bring the big toes to touch. On your inhale, sweep the right leg up, but we're going to keep those hips closed. So i.e. drop the right hip into alignment with the left and flex into the right foot. It's quite a strong pose, so keep the hips pressed to the sky. Inhale. On your exhale, point the toes, draw knee to the chest, and step between the thumbs. Coming in to a warrior 1 alignment, we're going to step that back foot off to a 45-degree angle. Bend into the front knee, square the hips with the top of the mat. Hands come to prayer just in front of us as we inhale. Exhale, pull the arms to the sky. Come in to warrior 1. 20 quid says this camera has cut out my hands. But that's okay. Keep pulling back on that right hip, squaring them to the top of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, extend the front leg. Keep pulling back on that right hip as we come to pyramid pose. Inhale to gaze forward, bend into that front knee, and with control, we're going to lift nice and slowly into flying warrior. So keep those hips aligned. Flex into the left foot and extend it behind you. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2. On your 1, step back with the left foot and roll the body in to warrior 2. So checking that alignment, we want that front heel directly in between that back toe and that back heel. Roll shoulders away from the ears and sink lovely and deep into the front knee. Sinking even deeper, 3 more breaths. Remembering one hand in the past, one hand in the future, in the heart, in the present moment. We inhale. Exhale, send the hands behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together, and let's move to humble warrior. So begin to forward fold that right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Two more breaths. Before we inhale, use those hands to halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to frame front foot, pivot on the back tippy toes, step to plank. From plank, we press off the toes, tuck the tailbone under, hold it here for a moment, and then take a vinyasa, dropping from the top or dropping from the knees, but we lower all the way down. Inhale, find upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, bend into the knees. Take the hips high, come to downward facing dog. Feeling that strength in the muscles. When you're ready to find the strength to the other side, we bring the big toes to touch. Inhale to send left leg behind you. Keep the hips aligned, so drop the left hip into alignment with the right, flex into the left foot. Holding it here. Keep breathing, gazing towards the knee, root down as we inhale. Exhale, point the toes, draw knee to chest, step between the thumbs. Come into that warrior one alignment, so right toes point off to a 45-degree angle. Square the hips at the top of the mat, bend into the front knee. Hands come to prayer as we lift all the way up into that warrior one. So square the hips with the top of the mat and sink lovely and deep into that front knee. Drop the head back to gaze towards the thumbs. Inhale. Exhale, keep pulling back on that left hip as you extend the leg and come to pyramid pose. Keep breathing, legs are starting to burn. Rooting down to that earth, we inhale, gaze forwards. Exhale, bend into that front leg and gently lift to flying warrior. So flex the right foot behind you. Drop the hip into alignment, finding your drishti, a point of gaze just in front of you. We inhale. Exhale, step it back to your warrior two. So square the hips and the chest off with the side of the mat and sink lovely and deep into the front knee, gazing towards that middle finger of the front hand. Inhale. Exhale, interlock the fingers behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together and forward fold, humble warrior. Not letting the left shoulder rest on the left knee, move it aside like you want to bring the top of the head down to the mat. On your inhale, we lift the gaze. Exhale, hands frame, front foot, gentle movements as you pivot on the back toes. Step back to plank. From plank, press off the toes, tuck the tailbone under. Really find your strength here as we hold for a moment. And then take a vinyasa. Inhaling to find upward facing dog. Exhale, hips come back to the sky and we meet back in our downward facing dog here. Concentrating on finding that alignment. So tuck that last rib in. Soften the knees ever so slightly if you need to as you drop the heels close to the mat and send the hip bones to the sky. Five breaths in down dog. Connect with the earth beneath you. Remembering that we grow from darkness. Inhale. Exhale, final flow for day 20. We bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, flex into the right foot as you bring the hips to alignment.
holding it here. And then point the toes, draw knee to the chest, step between the thumbs, find your way to that warrior one alignment. So left toes with 45-degree angle, square the hips with the top of the mat. Hands come to prayer as we inhale, exhale, pull the arms to the sky. Keep pulling on that right hip here. So really rooting it down. Beautiful. Inhale, extend front leg, hands to prayer, and then this time we're going to reverse the prayer hand. So maybe finding the opposite elbow, or maybe bring reverse hands behind the back as we square the hips to the top of the mat. Inhale, create length. Exhale, forward fold like you want to kiss the knee. Inhale, lift the gaze. On your exhale, we're going to relax the hands. We're going to float them down by our side as we bend into that front knee. Lift the back leg up. Come to flying warrior with a lot of strength here. Holding for 10, 9, embrace every wobble. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step back into warrior 2 with control. Bend lovely and deep into that front knee, keeping the hips and the chest square with the side of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, interlock the fingers behind the back, COVEN, and begin to forward fold. Humble warrior, letting those hands float far overhead as feels good to you. On your next inhale, lift the gaze with control. Exhale, hands come to frame front foot, pivot on the back toes, step back to plank, tucking that tailbone under, create length along the spine, and we hold our plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a vinyasa. Inhale, find upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, hip bones to the sky, downward facing dog. Tuck the last rib in and press the hip bones higher, feeling that heat here as we engage the muscles with slow, steady movements, really being in control. And then from here, bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, flex into the left foot as you send it behind you, keeping the hips aligned. Holding it here for a breath. Before we point the toes, draw knee to the chest. Step between the thumbs. Come into your warrior one alignment. So square the hips off with the top of the mat. Bend deep into the front knee, hands to prayer. Lift all the way up. So keep pulling on that left hip. Bend deeper into the front knee. And the arms come high. Find length through those fingertips. Before we inhale, extend the front leg. Exhale, hands to prayer. Maybe you find the opposite elbow behind the back. Maybe you bring the hands behind the back to touch in prayer. But we inhale, create length. Exhale, forward fold, like you want to kiss the knee. Really rooting down through that front foot, through the back heel. On your next inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, float the arms down by your side and find your way to flying warrior. Holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step it back to that warrior 2. Rolling shoulders away from the ears. Find the alignment, so hips and chest square with the side of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, interlock the fingers behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together, forward fold, that humble warrior. Sinking even deeper than you did before. Keep breathing, Coven, you've got it. On your inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, hands frame front foot with control. We step back to plank. Tuck in the tailbone under, find length through the spine. Hold your plank for 10, 9, keep breathing, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a vinyasa. Inhale, find upward facing dog. Exhale, hip bones to the sky. Say goodbye to down dog by pedaling out those legs. Oh, God, that was strong. Bending into one knee. Bending into another. And if you have jumped through in your practice, you can jump through. If you'd like to learn with me, you bring right knee to the right wrist, lower the leg down, lean forward as you cross the left leg behind you and move into a seated pose. Immediately roll the shoulders away from the ears and bring the tops of the hands down to the knees. So maybe you choose to sit in a cross-legged pose, maybe extend the legs. If you have lotus, you can come to lotus. But slow down your breath. Breathing in through the nose, breathe out. And then from here, we're going to take 3 rounds of cleansing breath. So inhaling through the nose and then exhaling out the mouth with force. So just releasing any final tension we got going on, really sealing this strength, this foundation with the earth. So from here, we're going to inhale through the nose. Exhale. All the way out. Inhale. Exhale. Final time, inhale. And exhale. Before we drop chin to chest, blink the eyes open and come back into the room, taking a bow. As always, with love, with gratitude to ourselves, to this online coven, and from me to you. Thanking you for joining me here for day 20 of our Wake the Witch journey. My muscles are absolutely burning right now, and I hope yours are too. I hope you feel so strong in your practice, so strong in your mind, and so strong with your life, both on and off the mat. Root to Rise, like I said, is a really gorgeous concept, and I love the idea of growing from darkness. As someone who has suffered, like I said, from anxiety and depression, and still do, it is a really beautiful idea that you can overcome every obstacle that's in your way, and you can grow into the most beautiful, strong tree through a teeny tiny seed lost in the darkness. So I really hope you enjoyed today's practice. Tag me in any of your stories at the Yogi Witch over on Instagram. Send me any questions, any comments, but I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow so we can open up the heart chakra. From the bottom of my heart, blessed be, Coven.